With this most recent set of books that I've just finished, they were a young adult project, so it was a slightly different project to what I'd done before. There was actually one particular moment that gave me the idea, which was that I was at a soft play place with my kids, and I happened to notice a kid who was there with a malformed hand. I started thinking about how difficult that would be, especially in the kind of medieval society that I tend to work in. And so when I had this idea about the young boy in the Viking style world, I went to my agent and we talked over some of the ideas and how we might go about pitching that.
For me, the most exciting thing about my job is that moment when you open a submission and you start reading it, when you are going to get so wrapped up in the plot that you lose track of time.
So my first point of contact with a new author, such as Joe, is putting together a marketing plan. For Joe in particular, we had a lot of focus online and a lot through social media, because that's where we know where his audience is. We created and commissioned a fantastic trailer, which we had storyboarded, and we worked incredibly closely with Joe. So that trailer was fantastic, and we pushed that out across multiple channels, had thousands of views.
Sales conferences have changed considerably over the years. Now we try and bring as many of our retail partners together in large-scale events on one evening, where we'll showcase the very best of our publishing for the season ahead. We'll show videos with our authors, and we'll show interviews with our editors.
We need to look at our approach to the type of genre of the book. We need to look at our approach to the type of retailer. The supermarkets have become increasingly important, especially for fiction and especially for the more commercial ends of the fiction list. Online bookselling with retailers such as Amazon is a really, really important area of the market at the moment, and one of the fastest growing. It's quite challenging to reach that area of the market, but the way we do it is by our consumer marketing, and we use things like Facebook adverts, things like normal web advertising to drive traffic specifically through to Amazon, where they can then make a purchase.
And of course you have the opportunity when you get to the end of a book to then edit and revise and review and make sure everything is consistent.
When making structural notes, I normally go through the text and make track changes and put notes in the margin on the comments. And then I will do a summary letter of all the things that have popped out to me. Once the structural edit is done, we'll move on to the copy edit. And that's all about making sure that every comma's in the right place and that the sentences read well. This might be done in-house, or it might be done by a freelancer.
You get very close to the material, which means that external opinion is hugely important, but you've got to retain a sense that it's your book.
In my opinion, the job of a cover is to sell the book. It's to evoke some emotion. It's to communicate information.
For Half a King, I think there were maybe 30 cover designs before we finally settled on one. So there was a lot of work that went into that from a lot of very talented designers and artists.
Fiction books are quite easy to convert into ebooks because they're mainly straight text. But for all books, whether it's complex or simple, we have to make sure they work across all devices. So you have your Kindles, your Kobos and your iPads. So I've worked across a number of different areas of digital publishing. I first started with the Hobbit app, where I was inputting content into an XML structure. And so I've learned how to code, mainly HTML and CSS. And also during my spare time I'm starting to learn Ruby, which is quite fun. And this has been really useful in my current job working in ebooks, because the ebook format is all in HTML, which is great for me because then in learning new code I can sort of update and improve the look of existing ebooks out there.
6 months before publication date, our work really starts in earnest, and that would be about us getting books into readers' hands, and that may be from a retail perspective, or it may be from a media perspective, working with publicity. So that's producing some beautiful advanced reading copies, super proofs. So we'll work really closely with an author 3 months ahead of release, but we'll start to tease out some content to an author's fan base and beyond to get them excited about the book.
Working with literary festivals is really important to us, and they offer a really great platform for our authors to come and speak to them, to meet them, to introduce their books, to talk about themselves and their writing.
But then there's usually quite a lot of work to do around publication time. Usually a fair bit of signing and some events. This year I was at the Frankfurt Book Fair meeting buyers of English books all around the world. These days my first book, The Blade Itself, is in about 30 languages. It's always exciting to see foreign editions, especially Far Eastern editions, Chinese, Thai.
The Frankfurt Book Fair is a fantastic opportunity to meet up with all our companies from around the world, but also our foreign language partners too. One of the great things that I did last year was get to meet up with Joe Abercrombie and host a dinner there for about 40 people.
It's great to meet the readers and to shake hands and to get the feeling that you're not just writing into a void, that there's people out there who are enjoying what you're doing.
Digital technology is opening up all kinds of opportunities for publishers to connect authors and our books with readers and build our readership. Not least social media, which obviously has been a phenomenon over the last 10 years. Where authors can connect one-to-one with their readers and find out and shape what their books are about, and get all kinds of useful information, but also just in terms of feeding their passion. One of the things that we've done in terms of harnessing social media is we have launched virtual festivals around a genre. So we have ran romance festivals, basically delivering a really exciting programme on Twitter, Facebook and Google Hangouts. One that sticks in my mind is the sci-fi one, which we ran in conjunction with the BFI. So we linked up with them and their audience and delivered a great event where we pulled in lots of different sci-fi authors from around the world, which is obviously something else that digital facilitates, a global campaign. And we also managed to promote lots of our mid-list and backlist and also our archives with authors like J.G. Ballard and Ray Bradbury. We had some fabulous content from them, which we're reaching a whole new audience now.
So the sort of person we're looking for when somebody applies to HarperCollins is somebody that's really passionate about the books, somebody that's got great communication skills, able to find their way around social networking, somebody that's ultimately a great team player. In the last 5 years, I think the roles have changed in that people are a lot more digital savvy now, and that's a huge element of publishing. It sits alongside it now.